this very less voters from your community that comes out to vote. I said, sir, would you like to get harassed in public? You have written transgender on their, voter IDs. And then when they go, there's a line for a male and there is a line for a female. Where's the third line?
It's actually very true.
When they go through the female line and they have written transgender female officers, they don't want to check them. And when they go through the male line, they get harassed.
Such a basic problem, but it is a problem, yeah.
But जब आप कॉलेज में जाते हो तब भी आपको एक फियर रहता है कि आपको जज करेंगे.
नहीं, but मैं ये क्वेश्चन है कि जज किस बात पे करते थे? Because you were a boy, right? At that time, how did he used to discriminate you? Like what?
So honestly, I never looked like a boy. So मैंने हमेशा अपनी मम्मा को as an idol देखा था. कॉलेज में तो ठीक है, कॉलेज के बाहर क्या?
Correct.
I think if I go back in my life, if I have to really change one thing about my life, I would say I would not have stepped out of my house. So if you've seen the song Luck 28 Kurida,
yeah.
So I styled that song long ago.
Oh wow.
Viacom 18 has made a docu-reality series on my life. They followed my life journey for 3 years. And
3 years?
Yeah.
Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of the Trgpodcast. Today we have a renowned personality with us, Shaine Soni, who has really seen a lot of hardships in her life, and now where she stands today is really commendable. I would like herself to introduce to my audience, and welcome to the episode. Shaine, how are you?
Thank you so much, Rajat. And I am very well, very good. Just that feeling a little under the weather, but that's all right.
But Gurgaon weather is very good actually. Today it rained, so it was pretty
but it's
good,
very cold as well.
That is true.
Yes. So
could you introduce yourself, please, to the audience?
Well, if I have to really introduce myself, I would say that, I am just another human being who's born to make a difference, and not just difference in my life, but difference in people's life. So I believe in, doing things which I feel I'm meant to do. And I feel that everybody has a calling in their life. It's just a matter of realization, what's your calling? So currently I'm serving as India's president for International Association of Working Women. It's an organization based out of USA. And apart from that, I am also serving as Delhi state icon for Delhi elections, appointed by the Election Commission of India. And I've worked as a model, as a stylist, and as a designer. I do a lot of consultations currently. And apart from that, I've been Miss Transqueen India 2021 when I have gone to represent India at Miss International Trans, where I scored a third runners-up spot amongst 59 countries. And yes, that has been my life journey so far.
So I wanted to know one thing which I'm very inquisitive about. Like, how did your journey start? Because as you told that you won the pageant. And so when did you realize first that you want to participate in the trans woman queen pageant?
Well, I think it's a little twisted story here. मेरी जब जर्नी स्टार्ट थी वो तो बहुत अलग लेवल पे थी बिकॉज आई एक्चुअली stepped out of my house at the age of 17.
Really?
हाँ, 17 साल की उम्र में मैंने अपने घर छोड़ के, ये नहीं घर से निकाली गई थी, बट घर छोड़ा था. घर छोड़ के I just thought because, at that point, even I was very, I was trying to figure out what my life is about, what am I about, because there was not much knowledge about a transgender woman like to me, and it always felt that I am a little different from others. So मेरे को बहुत ज़रूरी था कि अपने घर से स्टेप आउट करूं और एक्सप्लोर करूं कि मेरी लाइफ है क्या इन एक्चुअल. एंड of course, since we live in a conservative society, it was very difficult for me to live around my parents and explore myself because my parents were also going through a lot of trolling from people around. Since, when you're born as a boy.
So were you bullied in school? Like, was it like something like that?
I was kind of bullied, but then, I've been always a very strong-headed person. I've never surrendered to any bullying as such. I feel that people who bully are the ones who are weaker because, it's very easy to pick up a flaw in people, but it's very difficult to correct yourself. So I have been a person that has never lent my ears to people. So, but then I saw my parents were getting bothered. उनकी थोड़ी सी प्रॉब्लम लगती थी मुझे कि उनको थोड़ी सी बॉदरेशन हो रही है. ऑफिस के जो लोग होते थे उनसे आस पड़ोस के लोगों से, रिश्तेदारों से. So I thought, like, it's my journey. Why would I make it difficult for my parents?
That is true.
So I thought, like, I have to embark on it on my own and explore and just see what my life holds for me. So I left my house at the age of 17, and then I went on to, one thing was very clear in my head, that I wanted to educate myself because I come from an educated background. So education was very, I knew the power of education from a very young age. So I thought, like, I have to, take up education and be the most powerful person. So I went on to study at NIFT.
Really?
Yeah, I'm a
Wow.
NIFT graduate. So I completed my graduation there, and then I went on to work with WGSN, which is world's best fashion forecasting agency. After winning Let's Design season 2, I got an
You
opportunity to.
actually participated in Let's Design season 2 in Zoom TV, right?
Yes.
Oh, I saw you there. Right?
Yeah.
Correct, correct.
So I think God was kind, and I always believe that if you work hard and if you're sincere, you will always be guided towards the right direction. So my directions were very clear since then, that I wanted to do something which is remarkable, not just for myself, for people around me as well. So I went on to work there, and then I came back. I started my own brand. I'm the only Asian to design leather lingeries, and so yes, so it's not just that. It was not the quest to do different. It was just me myself exploring things and exploring the ideas, exploring the life, and whatever came my way, I just pounced on it and tried to
Achieve
learn,
it, yeah.
or get the best out of it. In fact, somebody told me that it just got somehow settled in my head कि you'll be master of no sorry jack of all and master
Master of
of
none.
none. And I kind of got very offended with that statement, because हम लोग ना एक, I think we have, as a human race, we have underestimated our existence. हम
True.
लोग लिमिट जो करते हैं ना, अपने आप को खुद करते हैं. इफ यू वांट टू बी अ डॉक्टर, यू नीड टू जस्ट, व्हाई कांट अ डॉक्टर बी अ डांसर, व्हाई कांट अ डॉक्टर बी अ entertainer? So it's just our limitations that set us in a box. So I never belonged in a box. That's what I knew. So I kind of got that offended with that statement. I said, I challenged myself that I will be master of all and jack
Master
of
of
none.
none.
So this is why I wanted to change that narrative.
I'll use this line later.
Yes, please do. I would love it, because that is what breaking stereotypes is all about. And you don't break stereotypes by just pushing too hard. You break stereotypes by pushing yourself to break the
Extent.
limits that
True.
people have created for you. So I thought as much that I need to break the limits that people have created for me, because I am a limitless person. I realized my strengths as a human being, which people realize maybe a little later in their age, or enlightenment happens to everyone.
Correct.
Now, for some it happens early, and for some it happens later, and for some it doesn't happen. So I wanted to make the most out of my existence as human. So मेरे लिए अपने अंदर की खोज, जो मेरे एक एक हर इंसान के अंदर एक कुछ सवालात होते हैं, कुछ अपने को लेकर कुछ क्वेश्चंस होते हैं, लाइफ को लेकर क्वेश्चंस होते हैं, तो वो मैंने अपने अंदर उनका उनका सारा आंसर्स ढूंढा. तो आई फेल्ट दैट वी एज ह्यूमन बींग्स वी अंडर एस्टिमेट आवर सेल्फ सो मच. वी डू नॉट रियली अंडरस्टैंड द पावर ऑफ द यूनिवर्स दैट वी होल्ड इन साइड.
True.
So for me, that was very important. And I think जो मेरी जर्नी रही लाइफ की, वो बहुत ही लर्निंग कहते हैं ना, जिसको बहुत सीखने वाली जर्नी रही है. बिकॉज when as a child you step out of house at a tender age, there's a lot of things that you go through, a lot of struggles that you go through, a lot of, I remember there was a time my parents told me that, okay, we'll only support your education, we're not supporting
Any other thing
you
that you're
you
doing.
living out anywhere. So I said, okay, fine, I'll support myself. So I used to work in McDonald's after my
Really?
college. Yes, I
In
used
Delhi
to.
itself?
Yeah.
Wow.
So I used to do a job in McDonald's for 6 hours, a part-time job that supported me throughout. So there is a lot of things that you go through, and I think these are the lessons of life that teaches you so much, and it keeps you going, because there's a zeal of you to live. आई थिंक जो एक कहते हैं ना, एक जहन में आपके होना चाहिए ज़िंदगी जीने की
Correct.
इच्छा, तो अगर वो आपको है तो आप हर चीज़ को सक्सेसफुली अचीव करते हो, और आप हर चीज़ को एक एम सेट करके अचीव करते हो. तो आई थिंक दोज थिंग्स आर वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट.
So I wanted to ask, like, how was your school life and your NIFT life was different? Like, I mean, which life do you enjoyed more?
Well, honestly, school life was very timid. I was a very quiet child. I was, more into myself, introvert. I think my extrovert nature started to come out post my 10th standard. When I
Right.
actually, though I was completely involved in, my art department. So I've been a very creative person. So I was into dance and music and art. But then later I got into basketball, and then I became a little more extrovert towards, starting from my 11th standard. Because I'll tell you what, when we grow, as a child, okay, honestly, I always resonated with my mother while growing. तो मेरे लिए मेरी मम्मा, जब मेरी उम्र बढ़ रही थी फ्रॉम 6, 7, 8, 9 years, तो मैंने हमेशा अपनी मम्मा को एज एन आइडल देखा था. तो मेरे को लगता था, माई मॉम यूज टू वर्क फॉर
Like,
सेमी गवर्नमेंट ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ ट्रांसपोर्ट. So she would get ready in the morning. She would wear best of the saris and get ready and leave for home. So I saw her as a very hardworking woman, and I wanted to be like her. Unless, until like, people tried to break my bubble, and they kind of told me that, she's a woman and you're not. And for me, as a child, you're innocent enough not to even know what is under her salwar.
correct.
You do not discuss that. You do not know as a child that what is under your pant of your father and a salwar of your mother.
True.
So it is people who actually corrupted me. आई वुड से दैट. मेरे को जो मेरे दिमाग को जो करप्ट किया था, जो मेरे दिमाग को हैमर किया था, वो लोगों ने किया कि नहीं, तुमको ऐसे नहीं होना है, तुमको वैसे नहीं होना है, तुम्हारे हाव भाव लड़कों वाले होने चाहिए. बिकॉज आई नेवर फेल्ट इन अ सर्टन वे. तो फिर जब आई थिंक वो एक प्यूबर्टी वाली एज आती है, जब आपको बोला जाता है कि अंटिल 12, 13 बॉयज एंड गर्ल्स आर लाइक
Together, and then they separate with the different rooms and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, unless you hit your puberty and you feel that okay, there's a difference. तो वो एक उस टाइम पे मुझे लगा था कि थोड़ा सा I tried to explore that part of my life, and there was a point where I realized that okay, my parents took me to psychiatrist where I had a awful experience, but एक पॉइंट आता है लाइफ में जब आपको लगता है कि okay, fine, what people are saying might be right, so you surrender because trusting the fact that they want your good.
True.
But even if that doesn't help, then you have to trust yourself. So I did that. I trusted with what my heart said. I trusted with what I wanted to do. So I went ahead and explored my life. And in college, certainly NIFT is a place where you tend to just be yourself.
You get a lot of creative freedom also in the.
You get creative
NIFT.
freedom. You get that space and that acknowledgement of not being judged. That gave me a strong sense of belonging in that zone. Because आपको क्या होता है जब आप कॉलेज में जाते हो, तब भी आपको एक फियर रहता है कि आपको जज करेंगे, बिकॉज स्कूल में तो करते ही थे, बट
नहीं, बट मैं ये क्वेश्चन है कि जज किस बात पे करते थे, बिकॉज you were a boy, right, that
Yeah.
time. So how did you use to discriminate you, like what?
So honestly, I never looked like a boy.
Okay.
From a very young age, I had long hair, very feminine structure. So people would actually get confused a lot of times that, okay, she looks like a girl, but then the name is boy, and then people are addressing me like a boy. So that was very awkward. But the point was that NIFT did not see me or my gender. They saw my art and creativity. They saw how well I can contribute as an artist to this industry. So that gave me so much of strength and gave me so much of freedom to actually live the life that I really felt like living. So I didn't have to hide myself. I didn't have to feel timid. I didn't have to feel fearful of anything. It's just that zone gave me so much of strength, and that strength I carried on for the rest of my life.
So in a way, NIFT gave you a lot of confidence because people were accepting for who you are that time, right?
Exactly. And honestly, it was not about, it was not the matter of getting accepted. It was just the matter of coexistence.
That's true.
I always believed that nobody can give me the right to live my life, because I feel when you seek acceptance, my acceptance only, I seeked acceptance was from my parents. Apart from that, I never seeked acceptance, because when you seek acceptance, you put the other person on a higher pedestrian.
100%.
So for me, we are all equal. So it was matter of coexistence. Okay, you have a problem with me, don't bother me, I'll not bother you. But we're coexisting. That was my thing. That live and let live.
No, but
And
really kudos to your parents also. They were supportive because that's really big
yes,
support you need at that point of time.
but honestly, initially for them also it was difficult to understand, because they were getting bullied and they were under a lot of social
नहीं है
pressure.
तो सोसाइटी ऑर्थोडॉक्स ही है वो तो
तो बट ये लगता था उनको, बट स्टिल दे डिड नॉट गिव अप ऑन मी, दे डिड नॉट गिव अप ऑन द आइडिया दैट देयर चाइल्ड इज डिफरेंट. So that kind of let me, let me carry on with what I felt like, doing in my life. So yes, so in a way there were hardships, and not just that. Okay, NIFT was very easy. Of course, there were difficult times in college as well, because your life is not only limited to college. कॉलेज में तो ठीक है, कॉलेज के बाहर क्या.
बाहर क्या करेक्ट
सो कॉलेज के बाहर आते थे, सो देयर वाज दिस Maggie point right in front of our college. So we used to sit there. So they would people come and they would look at us like, as if we are some aliens. Anyway, NIFT students are considered that, they're very different from the rest of the, because of the fashion quotient and,
Correct.
the way they kind of
they carry themselves
carry
they move
themselves, portray themselves to the world. So yeah, of course, they're different because they have the creative liberty. They do not feel to be fit under a box. So that kind of gives you the strength to, spread your wings and, fly as high as you can. So yeah, that was my, college and school journey.
And how was your experience of the show that you participated in?
Let's Design.
Correct.
So it was wonderful. The show was wonderful. The organizers were amazing. But then I remember this woman coming from, Bombay Times. She came to interview the contestants and she was roaming around. And then she came across me. And when I read the article she wrote, so I was the only contestant about whom they wrote an article. So she'd written, and then we came across this 22-year-old boy in a fancy lace leggings, and I'm like, you don't have to mention my gender, or you don't have to specify. You can just say a contestant with a so I said they wanted to further interview me on my journey, but I refused, because my purpose at that point was just to put up my creativity out there to the world.
Yeah, because you didn't want that people should not judge you for who you are. They should judge for your work.
Okay, I have always had this strong belief that nobody have right to know who am I.
That's true.
They have right only to know what I do.
Correct.
So I should be defined with what I do, not what I am.
That is true.
Yeah.
And then how was the transformation journey like? Because not many people realize that it is very, very difficult. It is painstaking. You have to go through a lot of procedures. You have to go through a lot of counseling. Can you just explain it in a gist? Not because I don't want to go into depth of it, because I know it is a very personal thing to everyone. So with keeping things here in personally, could you just tell us, please?
So first of all, it's very important, before I get onto the scientific level of it, it's very important to understand that आपकी एक body है, आपकी एक soul है. I know a lot of people will say that, oh, ये बनावटी चीजें हैं, because उनको लगेंगे, because उन्होंने experience ही नहीं किया. आपने भूत देखा, मैंने नहीं देखा, तो मेरे लिए भूत exist नहीं करता. आपने देखा, आपके लिए करता है. तो it's simple, as simple as that. So your body and your soul, when they do not realize, when there's a disalignment, if you can say, या आपकी जो body का gender है आपकी soul के gender से match नहीं करता, तो that's a very uneasy feeling. So and if you talk about the process of it, I think I did not know initially that there is a process. So it just came with over the time with the knowledge that I seeked from people, and with the the knowledge I read about, and the knowledge I saw in internet. So firstly, it's not an overnight transition that happens. It is a massive process that changes your life, process that takes a lot of years. So it starts with counseling, because it's important to understand how firm are you about taking on to this journey, because
Okay.
counseling is important, because another fact is it's a irreversible process.
All right.
So once you go under it, you cannot come back to what you were. So you need to be very strong headed, that you need to be very strong about what you really want in life. So after the you know after the psychological and test, then you have to start your HRT, which is hormonal replacement therapy. That's tough.
Toughest.
That's probably the toughest part, because when you start taking hormones, it kind of it brings like this turmoil in your body, like this turbulence,
True.
constant turbulence, and this in insane amount of changes that
Changes in
you
the body.
feel. And that is when it's very important that you have your loved ones around you, you have your people who support you, because I think a person can go through depression, a person can feel mood swings, there's a lot of physical changes that comes in. So that is a very difficult part, and it goes on depending on personal body,
For
it
a
goes on a
longer
long
time.
time. And then there are different procedures which, depending on what you need, what is your personal goal regarding your body, you can go for this breast augmentation, this FFS, which is facial feminization surgeries, there's gender confirmation surgeries, this body contouring. So there's a lot of
Wow.
surgeries. So it's totally depending on you, which one do you want to opt. And I always say that do not just jump into anything without just knowing, or under a desperation of getting it, because of course there's a term called gender dysphoria. When it hits, the desperation level of getting into the right body becomes far
Far
more
more.
higher than in otherwise, because आपका जो जेंडर डायस्फोरिया होता है वो यहाँ पे होता है जब आपकी कॉन्ट्रडिक्ट करती है बॉडी और आपकी सोल, तो वो बहुत ही स्ट्रांग होता है. एंड देन ऑफ कोर्स द प्रोसेस जो भी आप कराते हो, इट डेफिनेटली टेक्स टाइम. एंड ह्यूमन बॉडी, वी कीप फॉरगेटिंग दैट ह्यूमन बॉडी, आपको एक जो फिजिकल हीलिंग होती है वो आपको एक्सटर्नल नजर आती है. इंटरनल हीलिंग टेक्स अ लिटिल मोर लॉन्गर
Time.
टाइम टू happen. So I always say that take a slower process, and take with me, I could have done my surgery long back, but then I always wanted to do in consent with my parents. So it took me time to
Make them
make them
understand.
understand and convince them, because see, I truly believe कि मेरा जो जन्म हुआ है वो मेरे माँ बाप ने दिया है मुझे. मैं उनका अंश हूँ. So if I am doing anything to my body, it has to be with their permission.
That's true.
So that's why I waited for a long time, and I waited that I, and also पता है क्या, मैं, everybody who feels different, I would want to say that when we say when we say generational gap को आपको acknowledge करना चाहिए, because हम सोचते हैं we become selfish enough to only make our parents suffer, that नहीं, मेरे को ये फील हो रहा है, आपको एक्सेप्ट करना पड़ेगा. अरे क्यों करना पड़ेगा? गिव देम टाइम टू अंडरस्टैंड.
हाँ, तुरंत तो कुछ नहीं
सी,
होता.
कोई पेरेंट्स अपने बच्चों को हेट नहीं करते हैं अनलेस देयर इज एन एक्सट्रीम सिचुएशन.
Correct.
So I always believe that when you tell your parents about yourself, give them time to understand. आपने अपनी बॉडी को समझने के लिए टाइम लिया है ना, तो उनको भी तो टाइम दो. उनके साथ भी
Correct.
एक जनरेशन गैप है. उनको डोंट रब योरसेल्फ टू हार्ड ऑन देम.
Because ultimately they
Have
are parents.
patience,
आपका
have
भला ही सोच
patience,
रहे हैं वो. हाँ.
have patience, have them to understand, talk, make them read, make them see, give them experiences of other people, so that they feel that it's safe. Because मैंने अपनी mother से बाद में बात की थी, so my mother said something very sensitive to me. मैंने कहा, मम्मा आपने मेरे को initially क्यों नहीं support किया था? She's like, me being a woman, not that she's had you know, a very difficult life, but she has had challenges as a woman. She's
True.
like, being a woman and the kind of challenges I've faced in my life, seeing my child go through even bigger,
Bigger pains.
I got scared. Not that I doubted you. One point that I kind of doubted your potential. I didn't know you, my child, you will come out victorious in anything that you do. So that gave me a lot of, kind of, it sensitized me about acknowledging the parental side of, understanding. सो आपको अपने पेरेंट्स को बताना बहुत ज़रूरी है, उनको समझाना, उनसे बात करना. लाइक फॉर मी, my situation was very different, but I think if I go back in my life, if I have to really change one thing about my life, I would say I would not have stepped out of my house. I would have lived with my parents, because वो जो स्टेप आउट था उस टाइम पे नॉलेज नहीं थी इतनी, उस टाइम पे ज़्यादा इस चीज़ के बारे में बात नहीं होती थी, तो इसलिए मुझे उस चीज़ के लिए बाहर निकलना पड़ा. बट नाउ आई ऑलवेज से दैट प्लीज स्टे विद योर पेरेंट्स, स्टिक टू देम, बिकॉज nobody can give you the love and the care and
That they can give.
the parents can.
So, do you think the society has changed from the time you left your house, and till today?
I always believe that when change happens, you need to acknowledge it. And I always see a glass half full of water rather than half empty. And I always acknowledge change. Definitely there's a massive change. आज की डेट में कम से कम मैं ऐसे देखती हूँ कि पेरेंट्स एक्सेप्टिंग हैं. मेरे पास बहुत सारे ऐसे कॉल्स आए हैं जहाँ पे पेरेंट्स हैव सीक्ड हेल्प फ्रॉम मी इन अंडरस्टैंडिंग देयर चाइल्ड. तो आई फील दैट दैट चेंज इन द सोसाइटी इज़ वेरी रेलिवेंट. एंड अगर आप चाहते हो वो चेंज प्रिवेल करे, तो आप उसको एक्नॉलेज करना बहुत ज़रूरी है.
So, like I was reading somewhere. There's in US there's a woke culture going on, which means people are not telling the gender of their kids at early age. They want to discover it themselves when they grow up with time. So, what do you think about this? Like,
See,
is it a good thing or a bad
I
thing?
think, okay, we have to understand between the the difference between gender and sex. When we say sex, that's male and female. Gender
Correct.
is much wider.
Term.
Yeah. So, um, it is amazing that parents are giving liberty to their children, because I ultimately understand that we have confided ourselves as human race. There's so much to explore. There's so much there to probably see in the world, which humans have limited themselves from. So coexistence of gender diversity will only be thriving when we start acknowledging it at a younger age and give people the liberty to understand what they are and who they are,
Correct.
instead of just putting them in a bracket of a male and a female.
That is true. Also, I wanted to ask that recently I attended a Diljit Singh concert, and while we were discussing on a cup of coffee with you, you told me that you've done styling for him as well as
Yeah.
Ranbir Kapoor, right?
So if you've seen the song Luck 28 Kurida,
Yeah, yeah.
so I styled that song long ago.
Oh wow! How was your experience? Like,
It
how
is
did you land on
fantastic.
the opportunity
So
of that?
honestly, I did not know Diljit until then. I didn't know who he was, and the moment he came on the set, I felt a great energy about him.
Oh, he has a vibe.
He was like, we were shooting the whole day, and he was so active throughout until the end. And I remember giving him a pink blazer, which was not even which was like probably a taboo, a man wearing
At
pink.
that time, yeah, true.
But he was such a sport. He's like, yeah, menu do main pehen. So he was. So yes, I've had the opportunity to work with some of the great, stars, and I've.
Could you tell us an experience besides Diljit? Because Diljit, I've understood.
Yeah, I've worked with Jimmy Shergill, I've worked with Ranbir Kapoor. So they've all been very nice to me. Jimmy was amazing. I did a Punjabi film with him, and he was fantastic. He was very particular with what he wants. And by the end, he complimented also that, he's had a wonderful time with me in terms of,
That's nice.
The costumes and all. So, yeah. So, as I said, that my journey has been very magnanimous in terms of, and very versatile in terms of my profession, because I've always taken up what comes my way, and I've always tried to explore a different tangent. So similarly, like this year, I went on a different tangent. I've till now I've been a mentor and I've been a pageant coach. But this year, since it was an opportunity that I got where, Miss Universe India allowed transgender women to be a part of the contest,
Kudos to them.
I I kind of went ahead and participated, and I participated from two states. I cleared my auditions, and with my merit, I got into the top 51 finalist. And it was not just, my point was not there go there to win the crown. My point was just to have a representation, have people see what contemporary trans women are all about. It's not what you see, it's not how society has defined us. It's beyond that. Like, people have just seen trans women clapping and, begging on the streets. But I think if you're given a chance, people are so talented out there. Everybody should be, like, irrespective of gender, everybody should be allowed to do what they want to do to get the best out of
Correct.
their potentials.
And I think it is just that now society is really open minded, and
Yeah.
everyone gives you space. Not they don't want to know everything, but they just want to include you in everything. And plus, this Miss Universe you're telling me right now is really a good initiative. At least
Yeah.
they let everyone come in
And
the
apart
pageant.
from me, there were two other trans women from
Oh wow.
Bombay and Chennai, and it was so great to see, such diverse representation on a Miss Universe India platform. And it gave us, it actually got down in the history that for the first time, three transgender women were part of Miss Universe India, and it will be always a historic.
History. True.
And that is the beginning of a new era.
Correct. And how did you land up in the IAWW association? And they
So,
made you the president, you told me,
yeah.
right? Yeah.
So, International Association of Working Women actually happened to me through a friend of mine, Joe. So, Joe is also a member of it, and he kind of introduced me to the global president. Her name is Heather. So, we had a online like a meeting,
Zoom
and
call.
she told me that, would you be able to take the challenge? I said, why not? She's like, okay, of
So
course
what is
they.
it? What is IAWW? Will you tell us to the audience
So
first?
IAWW is an international organization. It's an international association of working
Working
women.
women, huh?
So
Correct.
basically, we kind of help generate awareness on different women issue. We work in different fields, like from literature to arts to IT to every.
Women's Rights Association and the IAWW is the same thing or
No,
the
no, it's
different?
not
Different.
same. It's just so International Association of Working Women was started by Heather, and Heather is person who actually tried to bring a woman, like women voice around the world in forefront.
Oh,
So
great.
that was the idea, and it was I think an absolute pleasure if I was getting to be the president, India's president of such a reputed organization. And under that, I actually pledged to bring about change in society. So, again, just being a trans woman doesn't mean that I have to only work for my community, or just limit my work to my community. I
Correct.
want to work. When I say I'm a trans woman, I also am a woman. So my work, my philanthropy work should be spread
Across women.
across women, irrespective of where they come from and who they are. So that's what we thought. Under it, we intend to bring India's first all women's literature festival.
Oh wow.
And currently, I'm working on a very, very huge project where, um, you know, it just came out with the idea came with personal experiences with my friends and my family, where a lot of women undergo menopause. And unfortunately, we acknowledge, over the years, we've started acknowledging menstrual hygiene and menstrual health care, but we have not acknowledged menopausal health care.
Correct.
And women go through so much, and it brings a massive change in their life. It's just that it's still taken as a taboo to address that as an issue. So I am working on a project where we want to bring women who are powerful and who have a voice to start addressing menopausal change in women's body. And also, earlier times, menopausal age was 50 and plus,
Now it's
but now
40.
it has gone down to 40. It's because of the, of course, the environmental changes and what you consume, the lifestyle. So we intend to actually bring and educate women about bringing changes in their lifestyle and bringing about a change and pushing their menopause, further in the age.
Okay.
And it is possible because I have a friend who underwent, she was going through a lot of things, but she didn't know what was the reason behind it. She felt depressed. She used to cry all the time. I'm like, you need to go and see a psychiatrist. That's what we kept telling her. And even psychiatrists could not figure out. And then somebody told her to visit a gynae. And then when she went to gynae told her that it's perimenopause. So perimenopause is basically the beginning of menopause.
Premenopausal,
Yeah,
okay, right.
it's premenopause. So there are a lot of side effects. There are a lot of symptoms for it. And she's barely 39 plus. So for a woman to experience that at
Such an
such an
early
early
age.
age, it's of course depressing. It's of course, it takes a toll on your body. So we want to educate women about it. We want to bring this as a conversation so that at a younger age, when you start educating them about it, so they can bring about a change in their lifestyle and push the menopausal age limit to a further, how further we can.
Understood.
So that is the point. So these are different projects that I'm working, and another project that we are working is called Transvision. So basically it's about, as a person I realized, I've been a little privileged that way, touch wood, that I never had faced any issue in the healthcare when it comes to uh, going out and seeking a consultation from doctor. But there are a lot of transgender women who feel a lot of who come across a lot of discrimination when it comes to healthcare. So we intend to bring about a kiosk in most of the hospitals
All right.
where they will be specifically for transgender women and men to come and seek the consultations and seek a proper health care, because
Why has different counter? Do they feel like
see they feel
is there a
that
taboo there also?
they feel, see, I've seen personally also a lot of people, they kind of discriminate. And since they do not have there's no gender sensitization in hospitals also, so they get ill treated, they get discriminated
Oh,
just
really?
because they look a little
Different.
different.
Correct.
So I don't want people to feel that way. And it is very important when person walks up to a hospital, understand their mental state is very vulnerable. And you are going to a hospital in a, of course, in a state where
You're vulnerable.
you have gone, your medical condition is a little worsen and you're vulnerable. In that case, if you face a discrimination, it's even more disheartening and it's even more impact,
True.
it impacts you in a negative
Negative
way.
way.
So I actually met somebody who told me that she had fever, 104 fever, and she was so scared to go to hospital because earlier she's had an experience of being discriminated. So we thought that just to put up a comfort and also sensitize hospital eventually, but then to begin, I think it's important to have a comfort zone where people, you might even sensitize the hospital, but you cannot sensitize the patient. So
That is also a problem. Correct.
yeah, so it'll, to get to that level will take time, but currently to, like, the spontaneous way of handling such a situation and providing a proper health care, it's very important to have a kiosk or
Chaos there.
a space where
They feel
people,
welcome.
they feel welcomed and they feel comfortable.
Also, would you like to tell our viewers for the latest project that is coming up with the venture, the famous venture Viacom 18?
Yes, so Viacom 18 has made a docu-reality series on my life. They followed my life journey for 3 years. And
3 years.
yeah, it's a 8 series episode which is going to come on a OTT platform very soon. And I've been, really thankful, and I hold immense amount of gratitude for Viacom 18 that they found my life interesting enough to record it and to actually have, have shown a trans woman who's not victimized herself and who's lived her life unapologetically, and have always been very brave about whatever I have done. So it is as simple as you and me, and it is as simple as any other regular person. But what makes it special is that it doesn't really victimize me as a trans woman, or
Understood.
or maybe a marginalized part of the society. It shows that how bravely I've lived my life, and how I'm motivated to do different things in life.
So was it, I think like we shoot with three cameras generally. So I didn't realize that for 3 years if you are being shot 24, I'm sure when most of the time you're being shot.
Yes.
So isn't it difficult, like people invading in the privacy, your part, your different life, your personal life?
See,
How difficult was it?
honestly, my first ever meeting with Viacom team was a virtual meeting, and they told me that you'll be annoyed. My showrunner, he told me that you'll be annoyed because we will get into every space of you. Little did I know that it would be very difficult. I've had my tiffs with them. We've had a lot of fights on the set, but then ultimately, you know what? When the goal is a common goal, and unanimously you're working towards it, I
Correct.
think those fights are also for good. So that you can bring the
True.
best out of
I think this will
it.
have a much bigger impact than all your things together, because
Yes,
this will go to a
because
wider audience as well.
see, understand that our aim was to bring out a life that people do not really see as an
Seen.
awkward life.
True.
It is something which is a part of, you know, a regular world. But what makes it different, again, I say that how I did not surrender to the
Society.
society. So, society and societal pressure. So that is it. And I think everyone, the entire team has worked so hard. We've shot internationally, we've shot in 2, 3 different countries, and it is beautiful journey. And I think it is all the more special to me because my father has been a part of it. I lost my father last year, and yeah, so he was a part of my docu series. So
Docu-series.
it holds a massive emotional value for me.
And any other future projects that are coming up?
So there are a lot of things in pipeline which you will see, which you will get to know, and I always believe that I think if I finish one thing, I always look up to the next, and I'm always open to ideas. And I think one of my targets in life is to get into politics.
Really?
Yeah, people usually get very like they get like a little shocked by when I say that, because I feel that politics is as good or as bad as you think.
That is true. It is up
and
to perception of the
and
person.
I,
Person.
I feel living in a country like India, if you actually intend to bring about a change in society and you want to really work on bringing change, I think politics is the
Place to start with.
no, it's the only place to be,
Correct.
because that is the powerful tool that you will have to you know change the world and change the society, change the Indian government. So I definitely intend to be a part of Indian politics, and it's very important to have representation there, because unless you have
That is also
somebody
true.
from the
Community itself.
community and somebody who's lived a life, if I am here sitting here and talking about it, it might just make a difference to a couple of people. But when I'm there, I can talk about a lot of challenges, a
Yes.
lot of issues that this community faces. And I can talk about, and I'm not just only representing my community, I'm representing entire
Entire
womanhood.
woman. True.
So, there are a lot of things that you can do when you have the power. So I believe in holding that power.
Now that the elections of Delhi also coming up,
Yeah.
like, and you are the
State icon.
correct.
Yeah.
So what is your role actually? Like, and
So
how did you land up at this? Because it is a because I never knew that there are state icons also of our election
so
thing.
state icons, major role, the biggest role of state icon is to inspire and motivate people to go out and vote.
Vote. Correct.
So that is what I've been doing. See, especially coming from the transgender community, it's very important for people to understand that, I spoke about it to the election commissioner and he was pretty shocked about it, I'll say to you. That they like, why is this very less voters from your community that comes out to vote? I said, sir, would you like to get harassed in public? He's like, how? I said that, there are a lot of transgender women who would come and you have written a female or a transgender on their,
Form.
voter IDs. And then when they go, there's a line for a male and there is a line for a female. Where's the third line?
It's actually very true.
And when they go through the female line and they have written transgender. Female officers, they don't want to check them. And when they go through the male line, they get harassed.
Such a basic problem, but it is a problem, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, do you think just to cast a vote, people would undergo a public harassment or embarrassment? And on top of it, the people they're electing are doing nothing about them. How would this community come out? So that's when they allowed
A third line.
no, they allowed transgender community to opt their gender on their card. Like if they want female, they will write female.
Oh, is that?
Yes. So
Wow.
this is what I feel the change is all about. जो भगवान ने जो ईश्वर ने हमारे को एक झटका दिया था पैंडमिक से
हाँ.
एंड इन पैंडमिक मतलब आपको वायरस ने ये सोच के अटैक नहीं किया था कि आप आदमी हो औरत हो या कोई और जेंडर से हो. इट अटैक्ड एवरीवन एंड इफ वी हैव नॉट अंडरस्टूड द इम्पोर्टेंस ऑफ ह्यूमन लाइफ वी विल नेवर अंडरस्टैंड अदरवाइज.
दैट इज ट्रू. आई एम थिंकिंग कि आप इतना सारा कुछ करते हो, आपको टाइम कब मिलता है अपने आप के लिए? बिकॉज ऑफकोर्स मेंटल बैलेंस इज ऑल्सो वन थिंग, बिकॉज एक्चुअली आई एम सीइंग आप कितने चीज़ों का पार्ट हो, तो हाउ डू यू गेट टाइम फॉर योर सेल्फ?
I think time management is something that you all must learn, and I think I manage my time. I make my time for my God. I make my time for my loved ones. It's very important because अगर वो नहीं है आपकी लाइफ में तो आपकी लाइफ का वजूद नहीं है कुछ. तो मेरे लिए मेरे भगवान मेरे I believe in Baba Neem Karoli a lot, and I believe in
Oh, and because you have told about him, because बहुत inquisitiveness होती है मुझे कि नीम करोली बाबा famous, मतलब actually why are people so mad about him? Like they're crazy. I've seen भीड़ in ऋषिकेश में, I think उनका आश्रम है, right?
ऋषिकेश नहीं, उनका बाबा नीम करोली का जो मेन आश्रम है वो कैंची धाम है.
कैंची धाम, करेक्ट, कैंची धाम.
in
हाँ.
नैनीताल.
ऋषिकेश से आगे पड़ता
नहीं,
है.
नैनीताल से.
तो उसमें उनके बारे में ऐसा क्या है? मतलब I really don't want to know because
There's a massive story of him that I think it's better you check it out and instead of me telling you, but I think मेरे को पर्सनली जो उनसे एक्सपीरियंस हुआ है वो बहुत ही मैजिकल रहा है. जब भी मैं उस धरती पे कदम रखती हूँ वहाँ पे आई फील दिस वाइब्रेशन इन मी.
he is also a big fan of नीम करोली बाबा.
सो
because
आप मेरे मंदिर में देखेंगे तो आपको दिखेंगे बाबा. तो मेरे लिए वो बाबा एंड स्पेशली आई बिकेम मोर सेंसिटिव टुवर्ड्स हिम एंड हिज एग्जिस्टेंस आफ्टर आई लॉस्ट माई डैड. तो मेरे लिए ना जब मेरे डैड he passed away, so I kind of lost a sense of security in my life.
Correct.
And I used to feel very insecure, because he was the only manly figure in my life. And when I knew of Neem Karoli Baba much before, from my dad passed away, but then after that I started feeling a very strong sense of security with him. And when I went to his ashram, Kenchi Dham, I kind of told him that, I take you as my father now. I am surrendering to you. And I felt a massive change in me. I felt the vibration. It calmed me down. It had brought a lot of positivity in my life. And he is always, a very strong figure in my life. Yeah. And of course, I'm a Shiva believer. I am a very strong believer of Shiva.
Then you should come to Banaras
Hanuman
once.
ji. Of course, I have to come. In fact, I have to. I've been to Banaras once, but then I really want to come again, and I'll see you in Banaras.
100%. Also, now I would like to ask you two last questions. One is, what is your best moment in life? Like one best, because I'm sure there must be many moments.
Yes.
But I want that one best moment that you'll always remember in your life.
I think certainly there are a lot of best moments because again, when you see life towards from a positive perspective, you actually create a lot of positive memories. But I think if you actually asked me to choose one of my best moments or the best moment of my life, would certainly be, when I opened my eyes post my surgery, because I think there was a sense of calm, there was a sense of belonging. I felt contented. Like, finally, I've achieved. Finally, there's a sense of alignment in my body. And that moment was so special. It was so beautiful because कहते हैं ना कि जिंदगी भर आपके बॉडी में chaos रहा है and suddenly there's a calm.
True.
So that part. And, I've written a quote. So I write a lot. So I've written a quote to define my life. So my quote for the life has been, the voice from my heart was louder than the noise from the chaos around me. सो जो
I'll
मेरे
use it again.
मेरे मेरे आसपास का जो chaos रहा है, उसकी जो नॉइस थी, उससे ज़्यादा लाउड थी वॉइस मेरे
अंदर की.
दिल की. तो वो जो वॉइस होती है, अपने इंटरनल वॉइस होती है, वो एक्चुअली बहुत लाउड होती है. इट्स अ मैटर ऑफ हाउ यू वांट टू हियर इट.
And any message to our audience, men, women, whatever you want to say to them.
My message to the audience will only be that, just, don't limit yourself. I think it is very important that एक जो human, as I started, the human body, the human existence is way more than what you probably fit yourself into. Do not let a box define you,
Correct.
and do not let anyone else define you. I think it's you who defines yourself more than anyone else. Your actions, your deeds, your intentions defines you. I think अगर आप प्रैक्टिकली कुछ अचीव नहीं कर रहे, अगर आप अपने इंटेंशंस क्लियर रखते हो, अपने इंटेंशन से कुछ अचीव करते हो, वो भी एक अचीवमेंट है. सो ऑलवेज think yourself as the most powerful being on this planet and utilize your existence to make a difference. Your difference could only be in one person's life or in many people's life.
True.
But difference is a difference.
So thank you so much for giving us time again. It was really, really wonderful talking
It's
to you.
absolutely
And more
pleasure.
power to you.
Thank you so much. An absolute
And we'll be
pleasure.
seeing you in Banaras very soon.
Very soon.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.